Are you willing to work in all elements of the weather? Sun, wind, rain, snow, and even a mixture of that? Are you afraid of heights? Are you willing to travel and be away from your family for long periods of time? What does safety mean to you? How important is safety to you? These are all questions a supervising foreman would ask before choosing the best of the best to work around voltages of 7,200 to 19,900. With potential shock and electrocution at every turn, traveling at completely unexpected times, physically demanding work in long hours, line work is not for everyone. While policemen and firefighters are everyday heroes, linemen are sometimes taken for granted, silently working in dangerous conditions and only sometimes getting to go home at the end of the day. The U.S. Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries rates that 20 in 100,000 linemen are killed on the job. Every day, I have the privilege of waking up next to a lineman. Linemen are a one-of-a-kind breed. Ian Lingerfeld explains in a personal interview with me how the construction of power lines is dangerous, difficult to understand, yet all in all common sense. First, engineers must draw up the prints after months and in some cases years of planning and walking out the new and existing line. After the engineers have finished the plans, a crews will come through to cut trees and make way for the new construction. To build the new line after the path has been cut through, the linemen would begin their jobs by digging holes anywhere from 6 to 12 feet deep. Then they set the poles either by hand or with their trucks. Once the poles are set in the ground for new line and frame to measurements, the linemen begin pulling in new wire and services going into the new businesses. Once the wire is pulled in and ready to swap load from old to new, he would then make the new line energized from the pull-off pole. This comes from the substation and makes it energized, which makes everything that was on the old line still hot on the new line. Then it kills the old line. The existing line has power on it, as one can assume, but the businesses and residents won't be energized by the new line until after the job is finished. With that being said, the load from the old power line has to go to the new line without taking out anyone's power, which can be quite a dangerous task. Most systems have 4 wires, and this is called a 3-phase line. 3 phases and 1 neutral. Each phase carries energy through it at 2 different potentials, 7,200 and 19,900 volts. The neutral is a common ground. Anything energized has to have a ground. Energy is constantly looking for a way to a ground, so it will take the first path it finds. If the phase is connected to the neutral, then the energy will enter the lineman's body where the energized line is and exit where it finds ground or a different potential in the lineman. If the energized line is in his left hand and the ground is in his right, 7,200 to 19,900 volts is coming in his left and exiting his right hand. Scary thought, right? As one can see, safety is a huge part of it all. According to the OSHA handbook, hazards include coming into high voltage contact, working at heights, working in confined spaces, challenging weather conditions, and work zone safety. It's no secret that power linemen always have the risk of shock or even electrocution, but not everyone realizes just how often that risk comes. Working from their bucket is their greatest risk every day without a doubt, but they can also cause the ground to be charged if they're not careful with their trucks. So not only are the linemen at risk, their groundmen are at risk, and every passerby is also at risk. Mike Boyd writes in a Power Lineman magazine that in 3 years, 110 men have been lost to the job they've loved the most. Working slowly is crucial, but so is remembering to test out the equipment every day. Linemen are required to wear hard hats, rubber shoes, rubber overshoes, a rubber vest, and of course rubber insulated sleeves and gloves that allow them to fully latch onto the lines. And you can see this pictured here. To test the equipment, linemen must submerge their rubbers into water and pull it back out. If water shoots out of it anywhere, they will know there are holes. Even a pin-sized hole in any of their equipment can cause instant shock and result in the death of a lineman. Linemen don't worry about what they're doing every day because to do this job, it takes confidence. Their families are the ones that take on the task of worrying. Families of linemen tend to be strong and independent, especially their wives. It takes a special kind of woman to love a lineman, realizing you may not hear from them for hours or days at a time. Linemen travel sometimes months on end, and the wives often must run their homes and families alone when their husbands are on the road. They rely on family, staying busy, and the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel becomes their best friend when their best friend is on storm. It helps keep them on track of the progression of the storms, and it keeps them updated on power outages so that they may know what is going on, even when their linemen are too busy to pick up the phone. On a Linemen's Wives forum, women explain how good mornings, I love yous, and goodbye kisses mean so much more when you're married to a lineman. One woman said that being a lineman's wife, I do worry myself sick. If I don't hear from him for a while, I'll think something's up. I've learned that life is too short to argue about the little things because you just never know. That's just it. You never know. A lineman's life isn't any joke, and he is the epitome of a hero. His job is tough, completely unpredictable, and straining on everyone. So the next time you flip on your light switch, remember the ones who are silently working in your community, specifically for you and your needs. So thank a lineman today, because without linemen, we wouldn't have power. And without power, we wouldn't have the simple luxuries we are used to every day.